afternoon, students.
Good afternoon, Miss.
Good afternoon, students.
Good afternoon, Miss.
Alright, please have a seat.
Thank you, Miss.
Alright, so for today's lesson, we're going to be looking at the topic comprehension skills, right? But for our subtopic today, I'm going to be introducing it to you via a word on scramble, I guess. So I want some volunteers. Let me see. I want about 4 volunteers to come quickly. Do I have to choose you? Okay, I think he is coming. We have 2 boys. You and you. Front, please. Thank you. Alright. So you're each going to be given letters, right?
Yes, Miss.
And you will unscramble the letters. Please hold these. Show the class what you have. Okay. All right. So this is our topic for today. Look at the letters carefully. Please put it up. Thank you. So it is O-O-K-T-L-T-I. Do you think that you can guess what is our topic? I'm going to give you a clue. It starts with T and it ends with T. Any ideas? Nobody have any ideas? Let me give you a hint now. The workmen outside, the carpenter have to use this here when they go to do their work. What is it? It's a, does the class agree? It's a toolkit. Alright, so can you arrange those letters so that it spells the word, the subtopic? The person's in front, look at your letters. Something wrong? Alright. So what does it spell? Toolkit. What are we talking about? The carpenter's toolkit? Who do you think the toolkit we're talking about? We do in English. It starts with W. What? Writers. Good. The writer's toolkit. Very good job, right? I have 2 mango in my bag. I'm going to give you one. Alright? Yes. So put your hands together for that. Thank you very much. You may take a seat. So that's what we're going to be doing this afternoon, right? The writer's toolkit. So we're going to be looking at the writer's toolkit. When you hear about this, what do you think about automatically?
Something to do with a writer.
Something to do with the writer. Very good. So when you write, how many of you have written a poem, a story before? It should be everybody, right? You started this since primary school. Now, when you write, there are certain things that you use within your writing. Okay? And that is what we're going to be focusing on today. We're going to be focusing on 4 things. So it says the Writer's Toolkit is a collection of skills or techniques and resources that writers use that enhance their craft and make their writing engaging. What does that mean? Interesting. Good. So they use these things so that they can create what they're writing about. Right? And it makes it interesting. They're writing interesting. How many of you have read a story before? Right? Good. What is in a story? What is usually a story? A plot. Good. What else? Characters. Very good. Setting. Conflicts. Anything else? When we do poems, what is there in poem? Devices, right? Or figurative language. So all of these things are within the writer's toolkit, right? This is what the writer, or when you are writing, obviously your story will have a character inside, where the story happening, which is a setting, and so on and so forth. So we will be focusing on 4 of these elements of the writer's toolkit this afternoon. I'm going to be sharing out these papers, these handouts, and you will read through. And see what they're talking about. Good. Now for imagery, right? The first one there is imagery. How many of those elements of the writer's toolkit are on your paper?
4.
4. What are they?
Imagery, dialogue, characters, and conflict.
Very good. So 4 elements. Do you think that these are all of the elements in the writer's toolkit? No, it is not, right? But these are just 4. So it says that imagery. Writers use descriptive language to paint or to create, clear pictures in the minds of the readers. This brings on a sense of emotion and so brings about interest, right? You know, sometimes when you read something, you see it in your mind, right?
Yes.
You read things like that, and you try to write like that as well, isn't that so?
Yes, miss.
Is it only in writing or is it also in speech? How many of you have social media here? You have TikTok. Everybody here on TikTok?
Yes, miss.
Have you ever looked at a video when somebody gone to some nice restaurant and they said, oh, this thing tastes buttery and it tasting this and it tasting that? You could already imagine all this thing tasting in your mind and you could almost taste it.
Yes, miss.
Imagery, right?
Yes, miss.
Description. Good. So that is what imagery is about. Now the dialogue is a conversation between people. It is used in writing to give a glimpse into the character's personality, brings them to life, and also keeps the plot moving. That is what dialogue is for. In writing, they do not say that, okay, Jerry was an evil man, and Jerry was like to eat and drink from. Will they say that? A lot of times they don't, right? So you will have to read between the lines now as children. And you have to draw conclusions into who Jerry was, right? They will describe him. They will give you the conversation that he's having. And from those conversations, you get to know what kind of person Jerry is. Isn't that so? And then we have characters. What is a character?
These are the people or things
play or the piece, right? So the characters are the people or things. Characters are not just people. That is understood, right? Good. So characters are not just people, they are also things or animals. Once they're playing a role in something, it is a character. Example, that desk in this class is not a character right now.
Yes, miss.
It is. It is not. Right? Because it's playing a role. If the desk has had gotten up and came to teach you, that would have been a character. Right? But because the desk is just there, it's not doing anything, it's not a character. Do you understand? Good. In those cartoons and so on, you see a lot of characters of different things. You will see a plant being a character, right? Or what else would you see in a cartoon? Some weird stuff. Like Beauty and the Beast, right? You see all of those furniture and the little brush that you have there, right? Those are characters in that piece. But it's not always characters. Do you understand that, right? Good. So the conflict, moving on to that, the conflict is the main problem. It helps thought to move forward and then create tension and suspense. So it is a struggle between characters. Okay?
Yes,
Now
miss.
that is what the conflict is. Any questions? Well, most of you have seen these things before, right? These elements
Yes, miss.
in English prior to this class, right? So you know about these elements. So what I want you to do right now, before we move on, I want you to explain the meaning. We've already went through them. I want you to explain the meaning of two elements. Explain the meaning of any two elements. Right? You can write it in your notebooks and I'm going to come on and check. Alright students, your time is up. Let's go through just the explanation. Let's start with Akila. Akila, what do you have? Which one did you do? Which two did you do?
I did conflict and dialogue, and I'd like to explain conflict. So what I have here is that a conflict is a problem or hardship that a character will face during the plot of a play or piece.
Can you give me an example? Or give the class an example?
So in the movie Beauty and the Beast, right? Belle has faced she met this beast, right? She met the beast and he locked her up in exchange for him to let go of her father, right? So
Alright, do you agree with her class? Yes. That's what a conflict is, right? It's basically the struggle. That is what the conflict was, right? The problem was the fact that he kidnapped basically her dad, and then she had to be there with him, right? That was the exchange, yeah. Good. So that is the explanation for conflict. Anybody have anything else? Ash, what do you have?
Character and dialogue. Character is a person, animal, or thing playing a role in a play or a piece.
Thank you. All right. All right, students. So I'm going to be sharing these textbooks. Can you just turn to page 109? There's a passage in here. along here, right? It says Becca left her mother standing in the kitchen and walked into the dining room and on into the hall. She stood at one corner of the archway that separated the dining room from the living room, watching her father, his eyes closed, stretched out in the cave chair, his feet on her mother's center table. She hugged the archway close. A radio announcer was saying the commissioners under the chairmanship of Mr. S.D. Harvey have recommended in the proposed new constitution that universal adult suffrage be introduced in the colony. All prospective voters will be required to take a literacy test. Daddy, I failed, Becca said. The lamp opened tired eyes and looked up at her. Becca scratched at a spot on the pale lemon paint of the post. She couldn't stand to look at the pain in her face, and the sadness that went back to the years she didn't understand. Turning on the radio, the lamp said, "What are we going to do, Becca? You are growing wild, like that bougainvillea that's breaking down Miss Boyce's fence, all flash and no substance. I'm sorry I failed, Daddy." His mouth twisted into a grimace. "Sorry? For me or for you?" "I don't know, Daddy. Let me tell you something, Becca. I never wanted you to go to high school. How you passed the entrance examination at St. Cecilia's, I'll never understand. Your mother gave me a lot of excuses and reasons why you were developing so late. None of them made any sense to me, because we gave you a better start than anyone in this family on both sides ever got. I told Lila that you've never shown much interest in your studies since ABC class. One of these days, I want you to take a good look up and down the street. The money you wasted could feed a poor family for 6 months. Daddy, do you know why I didn't go to the club this evening?" Bill Lamb interrupted. "I was waiting for something like this, but I think I will dress and go out for now because I lose my senses before I lose my senses and I'm sorry." He slipped on his pretty leather sandals and started towards the bathroom. "Daddy," Becca said, taking a few steps behind him, "may I try again, Daddy, please? I promise I'll pass. I'll come first if you let me go back." He paused in a small passage between the kitchen and the bathroom. At this, the relieving smile started in his eye, making the dimples in his cheeks slowly break. "I, Miss Becca, I wonder if it's too late to do anything with you. Nobody at home here ever asked you to come first. We would have been satisfied in the past." "And Daddy, may I go back?" Becca asked. "I'll think about it while you are all at the cave. When I make my decision, I'll let you know." "Daddy?" "Yes, Becca?" He sounded so tired. "Toysie wants to know." "Excuse me, Daddy, but Toysie wants to know if she can still go to the cave later. Cave with us if I do. My instinct tells me I should cancel this whole trip, but it won't be fair for your mother or boys or Toysie. And Toysie is always a help to your mother. I'll write a note to Miss Helen and leave it on the desk. Did Toysie pass?" "Yes, Daddy." Becca went into the bathroom and closed the door. Alright. Now from this passage, knowing that we know all of the elements, right? The 4 elements that we were given. I want you to check through this passage, and this brings us to our next activity. You will write in your book in little pairs, working in pairs, sorry, what the example or give evidence of dialogue, the conflict, what the conflict or what the struggle is in this part, who are the characters, and also something I'm forgetting. Which one I'm forgetting? Which one? Imagery. What is some of the imagery? Remember that imagery deals with our senses, right? What are some of the sight words that was used? If there's any smell word or taste word or whatever, right? So I want you to go ahead and do that. I'm going to be walking around to check you you want, you can read over the passage. And then you can move on from there. Is everybody finished?
Yes, miss.
Alright. So were you able to get the elements that was present in the story? In the passage? Alright, let's start with the easiest one. What are the characters? Landon? What are the characters in the passage? What did she say? Santiago? She didn't say anything? What is with Santiago? Who are the characters? Okay, very good. What is the conflict? What's the problem? Becca failed her exam. Good. What is what's the next one? What are some imagery used? There are a lot of imagery here. What is the imagery used?
And he closed his eyes, stretched out in the field.
Alright, close his eyes, stretched out. And he puts his foot where? On mother's
Center table.
center table. Good. Alright. So that is some imagery. And then dialogue is all over. The dialogue is a conversation. Who are having a conversation?
Becky and Daddy.
Becca and Daddy. Right? So the dialogue, I am sorry I failed Daddy. Any other one? Any other example you want to give me?
Yes, Becca.
Yes, Becca. All of those are dialogue, right? With words spoken. Good. So let's move on now to the last thing that we have to do this afternoon, which is writing of a story. Right? Writing of a story. So please turn your page and then we'll start. I'm going to be handing you these organizers that you will use to help you in writing your story. You will do this in pairs. Sorry, I think I'm handing you the wrong. Sorry. So you will work with the person who is sitting next door, and your kids to one person, right? Now what I want you to do, think about, you are going to be writing your own story, right? So you have the 4 elements on your graphic organizer. So you will put on the graphic organizer, you see characters, who would you want to have in your story? What is the problem within your story? Right? What is the setting or what is the imagery? Where would you like this story to happen? Do you understand?
Yes, miss.
And also maybe some of the conversations that your characters will have from your conflict. Do you understand what you have to do? What do we have to do? Just tell me. Imagery, dialogue, characters, and conflict. What are you doing with this information? You're making your own story, right? Of course, you're going to be filling out that, and from there you get this story. That's just the kind of framework from where your story is going to be based on. Right? Alright, I'm going to be giving you, let me see, about 10 minutes to do that. Right? Good. I'm going to be checking. Yes, you can sketch it out on your graphic organizer, and then you will transfer it into it. Right? Remember, you're working in pairs, so it should not be too difficult for you to. Alright, students, we've gone through the 4 elements, right, of the author's toolkit. What are the 4 elements?
Dialogue, character, imagery, and
Conflict. Very good. And what is the difference between the characters and the conflict?
The characters are the persons who know their things, playing a role in the story.
Alright. And the conflict
is the problem.
is the problem. Good, that's all you have to read, alright?
Yes, miss.
Alright. So I'm going to be marking your books now. And if you have any questions, now is your time to ask. Also, you have homework on the board here, right? So please make sure that you copy your homework.